Guys, welcome to MarkTalk. I'm your host, Mark Levy, and this is going to be a fun one today. This is a new format we're doing today. Never really done anything like this before, but, I'll talk about that in a moment. But first off, if you're here, welcome. If you like what you're seeing, press the like, share it. If you're here on Twitch, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're here. We're making content. We're making friends. So today is all about making friends. So I've been in this online reality gaming community for almost 7 months. Jesus, wow. 7 months almost. And there's people in this community that I've always admired and wanted to talk to and have had good small interactions with. And today I get to actually sit down and try to make friends with someone that I'm sure I'll be good friends with because this guy is very similar to me. I'm very excited. If you know who he is, you love him if you know who he is. I'm very excited. My dear friend Matt. How are you, dude?
I'm good. How are you? Doing fine Monday morning or afternoon. I guess it's afternoon.
Let's call it morning. I mean, I know we're in the same time zone, but let's call it morning. Let's call it as it is. It's like morning. We both definitely just woke up.
Yes.
And we're here. And seriously, I'm so happy that we're doing this. Because you're someone that because you started a month after me in the sequester community, right? You were 626, right? So
I was in my first one was 522, which I think you were supposed to be on.
Which is right before me.
Oh, you almost were, yeah,
because I was almost in 522. Yeah, I forgot you were 522. Wow, that's that's embarrassing on my part.
No, I did basically one a month from that on. So I did one in May, June, July.
Yeah, speaking of your 522 cohort, I love K so much. Yeah. But because you're one of those people that I've always admired because I knew that you and me are very similar with our sense of humor and what we stand for, and they're both big movie nerds is also really cool. I'm you're one of those people that I'm whenever I've talked to you maybe twice ever vocally, and maybe a few more times through Twitter where I'm okay, we jive. I think. Yeah,
I totally agree with that. I think we've had a couple interactions through Twitter a lot that make me. That's when I really realized that we kind of have a good vibe with each other in the sense of similar interests and stuff like that. And I've been on a couple calls with you before where we talked a little bit, but nothing else super in depth.
I feel it's always a passing ship situation over to a Zoom call, where it's all right, I'm going to bed. Oh
no. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
So this is just gonna be a conversation. There's no questions or anything prepped like that. It's just let's just learn about each other. I think that's the coolest thing to go about. Because one of my big things as an actor and as a human being is how can I learn from people and become cooler or not cooler but more rounded. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I definitely get what you're saying with that. And again, that is a journey that I think everyone should endeavor to go on in their life. Is just talk to more different people and try to figure out how to connect with different kinds of people that you haven't connected with before. Is definitely something that I think is a strong part of being part of this online gaming community. Is that I struggled with that for a really long time. Is being able to meet new people and connect with them and be able to have the confidence to approach somebody new or try to be become friends with somebody who I hadn't met before.
It was so weird sending you that tweet asking if you wanted to do this a few weeks ago. I'm hey, this is weird. I think you're really cool. You want to try to become my friend?
No, definitely. And I feel like that shouldn't be so weird for people. I feel like if you see someone that you think is kind of interesting and you have the avenue to make a connection with them, you might as well send out a message and say, hey, how's it going? Let's talk a little bit. And that shouldn't be so weird for people, but it is a lot of times. So I get it.
It reminds me of I think was I Love You Man when he's talking about have you seen the movie I Love You Man?
Yes, I have.
How he's I don't make new friends. I just have my friends and then I continue with those friends. So, but it's so weird to make new friends as an adult. At certain points, the places you make new friends are basically bars as an adult, and that's not really an option, at least in New York. And I don't think it's much an option by you in Canada.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No. We're actually going into our another stage of a lockdown right now because our cases are going up a little bit with that stuff. So and it's been that for the last year or so. So there's not really bar situation going on anymore. And this online gaming thing is one of the only ways that you make friends at this point for me right now, I guess, because you can't go out and do stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And you're right. A lot of people do have trouble making friends in adulthood because of the fact that most people make their friends in high school when you're in rooms and you're trapped with people.
Yeah. When you're it's we're locked in here, so we have to be friends.
Exactly.
I mean, if I say something mean or something dumb, you can always just press leave studio right now and never talk to me again.
Oh, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think it will either, but like, I mean, I hope it doesn't because, like,
yeah.
I
Yeah, most friendships are formed on like trapping people in a place together, like in a school or like at your job. That's where you kind of make your friends. I feel like it's weird for like a lot of adults find like going out and trying to make a new friend is like a weird idea for some people to be like, just make. But I don't know why it's weird. Like, just go out and make friends. It's good to have friends.
like, I remember when I first moved to New York. Like I always had like a good like. I'm from Miami, Florida, but like I've always had and like went to college and like games like at University of Florida, and like basically like what happened is like all my friends like moved to New York at the same time, but like I still would go to like a bar and just hang out and like try to see if I can make friends, and I felt like that awkward person drinking alone.
I feel that story. Yes.
So you're from Toronto, right?
Yes. So I live like in one of the suburbs just outside of Toronto, but like I'm like 20 minutes away from the city itself. So like I spend a lot of time down there, especially with my job too. Now that I'm spending a lot of time down in Toronto, but like Toronto, nice. Canada.
I've always, like as I told you before, like I've always been enamored by Toronto and like everything. Like I mean, like I can show you. This is what I look at every day when I'm on camera.
Yes.
Yes. I love Scott Pilgrim and I love my Mondo poster for Scott Pilgrim. So,
I've been to like a bunch of the places in that movie, like before the movie came out, and it was just cool seeing them on screen. I was like, "Yo, this is my city."
So yeah, oh man. This is so funny and weird and awkward already. I love it.
Cool.
It's not awkward. It's not awkward, but
no. Like it's just like the new needed, like getting the vibe of somebody talking to somebody in person, or like I mean, like live for the first time, I guess.
Yeah.
But like it's fun.
Yeah. So you're a big movie nerd like me, which I fucking adore so much because like I'll never forget like watching like your great, amazing intro videos because you're a filmmaker, right?
So I went to film school. I spent a lot of time working on sets and stuff like that. I've kind of segued into like trying to become a writer more these days, so I'm trying to pursue that more often. But like, I went to film school. I was friends with a lot of people that were filmmakers, or like guys that are directors and stuff like that. And even in all the way back to high school, I was like in video production. We'd make like stupid videos in our class.
Yeah, nice.
Like that, yeah. So like, I've always been like enamored with like storytelling in that sense. So yeah.
Like for me, I'm an actor and writer. Basically, that's like I wanted to be a filmmaker when I was a kid, and then decided that I'd have to decide between directing or filming or like acting, and I liked acting just a hair more. So that's why I fell into acting.
Well, for sure. For me, it was like I thought I wanted to be a director for a while, and then I realized when I was in film school, we had to make like a short film, and I realized that my flair isn't really visually. Like I can see it, but I just have a hard time communicating it and like figuring out how to make it go on screen the way that I want it to. And there are people that are way better than better at that than I am. And I realized that my kind of jive is like storytelling. So I kind of just dovetailed into the writing part because that's where I feel most comfortable. And I feel like I can tell a story really well, and then I can try to help someone communicate to someone how to put it on screen. But I don't think I can be the person that does that part.
That's so cool. Yeah. So like, wait, so who are like your big like inspirations as a writer? Like what kind of screenwriting do you like to do?
So like this whole year, I've been kind of focusing on like TV writing because I've been trying to like figure out a way how to break into some industry stuff. So I felt like by writing pilots, doing stuff like that, trying to get more work in that way. I can like I know shows that I really like. I admired the writing was How I Met Your Mother. I really admired.
Oh my god, that show is so good until the end.
Everyone says love the way that happened. Like I appreciate the way that Carter Bays and I'm forgetting the other guy's name.
Oh my god, because I love How I Met Your Mother. It's in like my blockbuster play about how much I loved How I Met Your Mother until the end. And I mentioned Carter Bays. I can't remember the other guy's name. I'll look it up right now.
Yes. I always forget names when I'm about to say them.
Carter Bays is like a name you can't forget. Like it's just
it's so unique and special. I like it.
Craig Thomas is the other one.
Yes, there you go. And like I really appreciate what they did with that show in the sense of like a lot of setting up stuff that's going to happen later, and like kind of knowing what the destination was, and like inviting you in to be like, oh, this thing's going to happen with a goat later. And we're like, oh, when is it going to happen? Or like introducing the slap bet thing. where I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like I enjoy this. Like that kind of thing I really enjoy because it's like it feels like you're letting the audience in on a little secret or something, but they don't really know what it is yet. And you're like telling them, eventually you're going to find out. You just have to keep watching. I really appreciated that kind of thing that they set up with that show, even though the biggest thing that they set up, which is the end, which was the plan the whole time, didn't really work out. But I was like, I like that you did that.
They could have easily just thrown out that scene they shot in season 2 and just been like, oh, well, the mother lived because we all love Kristen Milioti. She's an amazing actress. And it was just like in my Play Blockbuster, I go on like a 10-minute rant about how much the How I Met Your Mother series finale ruined the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like how it just...
It's an interesting thing because it's like, I get what they did on paper. On paper, it makes 100% sense. And I think what hurts them a lot in it is that how much the show got extended from what they expected it to be. They only expected it to be, I think, like 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah, and then like 8, I think, or 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9. Yeah, and it just went on a little longer. And the extended seasons,
9
seasons. Yeah. So they extended a couple seasons longer than they thought it would go, and that kind of hurt what their ending was going to be. And then also, it's this weird thing to say, but I think they did too good a job casting the mother, and it made everyone not want to go with the ending that they had.
And they used her so well. Like, I mean, Kristen Milioti is like someone I've seen a million times. Like, because like she was coming up as an off-Broadway actress when I moved to New York, and I just saw her like in everything. And then like she was like in Once and like got Tony nominated, and I was just like, good. And then she got cast in Hammer. I'm like, yeah, finally. And then like they used her so well in that last like 18 episodes, and then they kill her.
She was too good, and then it made the ending moot. It made like I don't want to see this ending anymore because she's too awesome.
What also made me really mad about the ending of How I Met Your Mother is how like it's like such a happy sitcom, except for like 3 or 4 episodes, and then like the series finale, it's like everyone just gets sad. Like everyone's just sad. Like it's like we're all in our 30s and we're sad. I'm like, I'm in my 30s, I'm sad, but not like sad. Like, you know.
No, yeah, exactly. Oh man, it's wild. But no, so, I do appreciate that show a lot. I really like Community as well. As like
Community is great.
Like, I like to reference myself in my humor a lot.
Yes, oh my god, yes, yeah. Like I also love Dadaist humor that doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Like so in a few minutes after this ends, I'll be releasing the cast video for the adventure game. My what was gonna be Choose Your Adventure for Sequester. But like I rebranded and did it the way it really should be, honestly. And it's gonna be next week. But like there's a very subtle joke in the video that is literally a split second long.
Yes, I love that kind of stuff. Yes. I love any joke that is just like I love jokes that draw attention to themselves.
Yeah,
It makes you laugh. Like I love when someone just like, and this is the joke, and I'm like, I love it because they do that for no reason.
I also love weird jokes where you have to like, explain that's a joke, but like it's not like offensive or anything. It's just like weird. It's just like so that's a joke. You can laugh if you want.
Agreed. Yes, those are my things. Like again, it's like it goes to the kind of movies that I really love too. Like I think I don't know if we talked about this. It probably was you talked about it on Twitter. How much I love like all the absurd Jesse Eisenberg movies that come out over the last year. I just love that humor.
That guy's career is insane. Like, I remember I got into him when I was like 14 years old with this show called like Go Fish or whatever. Okay. It was like on Fox for like 5 episodes. It was like him and like Anne Hathaway and that dude that was Jim Carrey in the Dumb and Dumber prequel. Eric Christian Olsen. Yeah. But like it was like kind of like a weird comedy drama, like Fox 2000-ish. You know, like it was.
I haven't seen it, but it sounds great.
It lasts like 5 episodes. Like
it was kind of that's even better. I want to go watch it now. Just watch it. It's only 5 episodes. It's awesome.
But like, and it might have lasted long, but I remember I liked it a lot. I was like, oh, this guy's cool. He's a nerdy Jewish guy like me. And like he was like, you know, he was like. He's not that much older than me. I think he's like 3 years old. He's like late 30s, whatever, and I'm mid 30s. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, yeah, Jesse Eisenberg is insane. Like, I just watched Vivarium the other night, and that movie still hurts my brain. Have you watched that movie?
I have been like, I've watched the first 20 minutes of it. I was tired one night. I was like, I'm back to this because I think I'm too tired to take this in right now. I just haven't gone back to it yet, but I have it queued up on my DVR, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back and just watch this at some point. Like, now that I'm gonna have a lot more time off this upcoming week because of like Christmas holidays, I'm gonna just catch up on a bunch of movies that I didn't get to watch. So yeah, that's one of the ones.
Art of Self-Defense is amazing.
Art of Self-Defense is a big one I'm talking about. Like those kinds of Jesse Eisenberg movies make me like I die laughing. Like a lot of people don't find them as funny as I do when I'm watching them with them. I'm like, this is hilarious.
No, I remember like when I saw Art of Self-Defense, I was at my job watching it, and I literally could not stop laughing, like watching it, because it's just watching like as a white male, I know what toxic white masculinity is. That movie's all about that. So I'm like, oh my god, this is the greatest satire about like horrible white men. That think that they're amazing. And the fact that it's just at a karate school is like the best thing ever. Like it's just amazing.
And the whole tone of it, like the scene where after he wants to learn how to defend himself and he goes into the gun shop, I was like hysterically laughing because it's just so ridiculous, the tone and the humor of that. I love that one. I love the other movie that he did, The Double. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes.
That one is hilarious to me too, in like a totally different way, and like also kind of like fucked up. And I was like, this is wild.
Like he just is the actor who takes swings, you know, like that's what he does. Like he's like, I got my Oscar nomination, but now time to take swings. Like there was something else he did recently. I was just like, what is it? Like I remember like even from his first movie, like Roger Dodger, I liked him. Did you ever see that one?
I have not seen that one. I think the first time I was introduced to him was in The Social Network, and I just really loved the performance in that. And I followed him ever since that point, so I've seen a lot of the movies since then. I haven't gone back into like the early stuff, which I think I should do a little bit more of.
So Roger Dodger is weird. It's about this nerdy kid that goes to visit like his like swinging like uncle, like who's like a ladies' man in New York, and like to like lose his virginity basically.
Got it.
But
that like a movie that'd be totally up my alley, actually.
Like he runs away to New York to like get help from his uncle, basically.
Yeah. No,
and like it's like a false pretenses type stuff. But it's I remember it was good. I think it was like Campbell. Was it Campbell Scott in that?
Ooh.
Yeah, Campbell Scott. Like it was good.
I'd definitely watch that. Like just from the premise, it sounds kind of funny and like interesting, especially with Jesse Eisenberg in it. Like I just think he brings this like weird energy to everything that he does that I really like. I don't know. He's just great.
I love that. Like Eisenberg's like fun. Like Eisenberg is the Oscar nominated Michael Cera, in my personal opinion.
Yes.
And because they're both very similar in like the ways like what they do. Like they're both like that awkward Jewish-ish kid who's now an adult.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah. Because they both are awkward Jewish kids that are now adults.
Michael Cera from my area, obviously. I was once at like a vegetarian, like Japanese restaurant, and I was eating lunch with my friend, and he came in with like some people that he knew, and he was sitting like a few tables down away from us, and I was like, "Yo, that's wild that Michael Cera's in this same restaurant right now, chilling over there."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Like Michael Cera, like I met him a couple times. Like the nicest dude in the world.
Oh,
like he's because I think he lives in Brooklyn. But I know I've seen him at my job a few times when that was a thing. Like I remember I like seeing him for like Mission Impossible or something like that. But really nice guy. Every time I've had a chance to talk to him, super nice. Like very much what you think he would be.
Oh yes, I totally agree. Like I didn't talk to him that day, but like I did work for a long time at a movie theater here, and he came to the movie theater once to just watch a movie with like a couple of people in his family, and I talked to him for a couple of minutes that time, and like he's super nice. Like I've never heard anything bad about like experiences with him, which is why I really love like his performance in like This Is the End, where he's just being like this like raging asshole. It's just I'm like this is so not who you are, anything that I know of who you are, which is why it's great.
That movie I have such weird feelings about because like so that's a genre of movie I absolutely hate. I do not like end of the world movies.
Oh yeah.
So like when I was a kid, I remember there was supposed to be like a comet, like an asteroid that was going to hit the Earth, like in like 90, like or what, like 98 or whatever, and I was just so scared. And I remember like being like, I'm never going to watch end of the world, like an end of the world movie ever again, like end of the world, like end of human race, everything, you know?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, that's not my favorite genre. I mean, like, I'll ask you, like, what is your favorite genre of movie? What are the things you like to watch more than anything else? I know you watch a lot of different stuff, but like, what are the things? If this movie comes, I'm there first day.
Really absurd humor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite genre, but it's a genre that I will go out of my way to see it as soon as possible. For example, you remember when Tim and Eric made their movie? Like like I saw that like opening day in like downtown, like because I was like, I have to see this opening day because if I don't, then no one's gonna see this movie because it's fucking Tim and Eric. And it was actually crowded there at like 12 noon because everyone did that. But
Yeah.
I also like I love laughing. I love comedy.
Mhm.
I love there's like certain directors I will never miss things from, like as like opening day, like Safdie brothers and like
Mhm.
Ari Aster, people that I will never miss an opening day movie for.
Oh,
But
definitely.
I don't know, like I don't know, it's just like it also has to speak to the child in me sometimes, the movie.
Mhm.
Like the movie I was most excited about this year, and it actually paid off for me so far. It was Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Okay. Nice.
And also, like, I really love a good like a film to a screen to stage adaptation, a stage to screen adaptation.
Yes.
Like I
I
just
think.
watched on Friday Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which is a play I've never seen live, but read the play a couple times,
Mhm.
and it was just oh my god, like we knew it was gonna be good, but
I
like
mean, with that cast, you can't be bad. That cast couldn't have
like
been bad. I mean,
I
come on.
just love that Denzel's shepherding like all of August Wilson's plays to screen. I'm like, this is great. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
It's pretty. Yeah, it's dope. No, for me, definitely things that will pull me out to like. Obviously, they're like directors that I will go see their movie no matter what. So like, I'll go see a Coogler film anytime it comes out. I love Ryan
yeah,
Coogler. I will go see any Jordan Peele movie. I just find them. I find his brand of filmmaking at this point, like this niche that he's carved out for himself, now very interesting.
yeah.
Um,
How'd you feel about us right after you saw it? Because I know a lot of people right after they saw it were like, ugh. I
I
was like,
liked it.
I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as Get Out. And then I saw
Yes.
Us again. I'm like, and then I like Us more than I thought I did. But
Mhm.
it's like I still like Get Out more because Get Out is
Get Out is a near
perfect.
perfect film. It's a near perfect film. Like there's not a second of wasted screen time in that movie, which I
Yeah,
think is amazing. I think Us, it works. It's just not the same thing. But
yeah,
like like it's not as poignant. I guess the point that he's making in that movie is kind of what stood out for me. Like I get what he's going for, but it's not as
yeah.
pointed as the first one to me. I don't know.
No, I
That
mean,
was just my feeling on it.
well, I mean, it's so interesting, like, because like he hits such interesting ideas in Us, about like especially like the different faces of people and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
it's just like the Hands Across America thing. I didn't personally love when I first saw it,
Mm.
but it took me
Yeah.
like a year after that movie to be like, okay, I get what he's doing here.
Yeah, I get what he's. I get. I got. Like. I think I get what he's going for here. I don't know if I love it, but like I got it, and it's good. And like again, it's well made. The
Yeah,
scary parts are scary. The funny parts are funny. I would like after that movie. I think the thing that I had in my head most, other than like I like this as a solid, was I want a rom com with Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke. Just give me a rom com with them. Just like get into
I'd
it.
be so game for that. Like
I watch it.
it was so cool seeing him play like just a nerdy dad.
Yes.
Because like he's so like I'm so used to like seeing him like in Black Panther, like being like tough and like like imposing with like, a couple funny lines, but like
Mm.
you know,
Exactly. I knew that he had it in him because I remember he was in Modern Family for a couple episodes, like so one of the kids on the football team on Cam's
oh
football team,
yeah,
like
yeah,
one
yeah,
or two episodes. And I knew that he had like funny in him, but like even that was like a bit thing. And when I
yeah,
watched us, I was like, this guy's hilarious. He needs to. Where's his starring comedy role right now? He
like
needs it.
yeah. Oh my god. I love this conversation so much.
Yeah.
I love how it's just evolved from us time our lives to like movies just exclusively, which is very okay.
No, and like
Because,
the other things that that draw me out too is like I really love. I'm not afraid to admit I love a good rom com. They're not
oh my god.
there's very few of them these days. There's not as many good rom coms as there should be. But I love a good rom com. They're funny and I don't know why people struggle so hard to make them. They should be simple. That's
Yeah, I
why
mean,
they
it's just
work.
like the way you want a relationship to be. It could be cheesy and fun. Like I remember, like the first rom com that I like fell for it, like while it came out, was like Just Married.
Okay. Yeah.
You remember that movie? Yeah, with Ashton Kutcher and Brittany Murphy. Like, I remember I
Yeah.
saw it. I was like, I love this movie. It makes me happy.
Oh,
Um,
100%. I
yeah.
like that one that came out on Netflix, like I think a year or two ago. Set It Up with Zoe Deutsch and guy's going to be in the new Top Gun movie. Never remember his name, but
I know what movie you're talking about. I never saw it though, unfortunately.
it's pretty funny. And like I just find Zoe Deutsch very charming. So I think that anything she does is like pretty solid. But like that's half of what rom coms is. You need to just have a magnetic lead, and then
Yeah.
most of it will work. A person that I think needs to do a lot more rom-coms these days is Khaleesi from Game of Thrones.
I can see, yeah. Emily,
I think she has a very she has a magnetic personality and she's funny, and I feel like they should put her in more stuff like that. Even though I know that she's trying to do this thing where she wants to do a lot of these like genre movies.
Yeah,
she did the Terminator one, and then she was in Solo,
and she was in the really bad. I mean, she was in 2 bad genre movies. Like those are considered the worst of those 2 franchises.
I know.
Actually, well, Solo is not the worst.
I don't hate Solo.
Solo, I had fun watching, and watching the second time too.
Mm-hmm.
For Star Wars movies, I always watch them twice because I'm like, oh my god, and then like the same time, I'm like, is this good?
I have controversial opinions on Star Wars, so I try to avoid spouting them too often.
Do you mind me asking them? Because I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'll admit that they're not perfect.
Oh no! Like I like Star Wars. I'm not gonna like. I don't think anybody thinks that they're perfect. People that do, I'm like, hey, that's your bag. That's whatever it is. Like I know, like there's an argument going on online right now about like how people rank their Star Wars movies. I know a lot. I'm seeing a lot of them on Twitter. People have like Rogue One ranked pretty high on their list, and Rogue One is like my bottom tier.
It's not bottom tier for me. It's like middle but bottom of the middle tier. Yeah. Like for me, my favorite Star Wars movie, and I'm not afraid to get controversial here because it is a controversial choice, but it's my favorite and it just does it right for me. The Last Jedi.
I'm 100% with you on this one. So okay, we were on the same page.
My favorite is just because it gets everything. I like the fact that like, yeah, it shits on Force Awakens, but like it's like also like I love the idea that you're like, oh my god, General Snoke is gonna be this fucking terrifying thing, and get like 5 minutes in the movie, and then like it's dead. But like you get like the coolest fights. Yes, the Casino Planet goes on a little too long, but everything else works for me in that movie.
It's a totally imperfect film, but I do appreciate the swings that it takes and the deconstruction of the Star Wars mythos that happens in that movie, where it's just like that movie feels like someone that doesn't like Star Wars was like, I think it could be more, and I think you could do more stuff with it if you just like got rid of some of this stuff that doesn't matter. And then they spent the whole like Rian Johnson spent the whole movie just being like, I'm gonna just like get rid of all the stuff that I don't think matters that much, and we're going to like hopefully we can move on to something else.
But also it makes sense. So like what they did with Luke in that movie, it makes sense. Like he would be a simple asshole if he lived on a planet by himself.
But even that is like deconstructing the mythos. Like people go in with this preconceived idea of like what there's this myth around what Luke should be, and I'm like, if you actually look at it, he's a person, and the things that have happened to him in life would affect him in some way.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
He's like, I understand he's this great Jedi and everything, but like he's also a person, and like he's had a pretty rough life. It would affect him in some ways.
Yeah, like my second favorite Star Wars movie, which I'm not afraid to admit, but a lot of people will always hate it, but like to dunk on it, is Return of the Jedi, because that's one I watched most as a kid. So
that one is definitely kid fodder. Like I think I showed that to my nephew when he was growing up, and like he really liked that one. Like that one hits for kids a lot. I can see why.
Ewoks are awesome. Like the Ewoks are awesome, and like the whole first act with Boba on Tatooine is like awesome. Like, that's so fun.
100%.
Yeah,
definitely into that. No, for me, Rogue One, I just have it low on my list just because I don't think it accomplishes anything as a movie. By the end of it, I was like,
hour is really good, and then like the last 4 minutes is amazing.
Mm-hmm. As a sequence, as like in the entire story of Star Wars and within the story of the movie itself, I'm like, I just don't think that this accomplishes what they think it is. They think it's doing this thing, and I'm like, it's fine.
I mean, it's a fun heist movie. That's what it is. Like it's
even
fun.
then, I wanted it to be a more fun heist. I wanted a fun heist movie, and what I got was more. I think it takes itself too seriously, and I do have an issue with the fact that it kind of like it takes the entire thing of New Hope, which is there's this thing that we discovered that can help destroy the Death Star, this kind of magic, and like it's like but no one can ever do it. It's impossible, and that's kind of the magic of the New Hope is like there's this thing to discover. You could possibly win the whole thing. You destroy it and shoot through this small shaft. And it's like, no, but that's impossible. It's so small, it doesn't even make sense that anyone could be able to do it. And Luke's able to do it. He's able to save the day. this movie goes like, oh no, but someone would have done it eventually because it was made specifically for someone to do that. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
that kind of
I agree with that. I agree
some of the wind out of the sails of that moment for me now.
I agree with that. I mean, I think Rogue One. It's like for me, it's below, it's above everything that's prequel trilogy, but not much higher than Episode 3 for me. So I do like Episode 3 a lot.
Again, and then stuff in the prequels, like I know I don't like the prequels either, but there's stuff in there that I find interesting, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wish that they would not focus so much on this other like minor details of other things over here and like do some of this cool stuff.
Trade wars.
Oh yeah, because we all watch Star Wars to talk about trade. It's very interesting.
I mean, that's the most exciting thing in the world to me. I mean, like, give me finance, give me trade, give me the microcosm of like how like the empire works. It's like, yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Star Wars, not Star Financial.
It's weird. It's like those movies are way too big, and then like are like way too big and try to focus on too much minutia of the world. Mm-hmm. And I find like in this more recent iteration of Star Wars that we're getting, I find like the world is getting too small now, where there's too many of the same people, and like they know everyone runs into people from the older movies that we've seen before. I'm like, I thought this was a whole universe. Why do we keep on running into Luke Skywalker everywhere? He's everywhere. What's happening?
I mean, you're right though. Like, are you caught up with Mandalorian? Or I'm not going spoilers, of course.
No. But I'm caught up. But like, yeah.
But like how like Mandalorian, there's like 8 characters in the whole series in 2 seasons. Like it's like
they just keep everywhere they go. They keep on running into them, and I'm like, I thought this was like a gigantic universe, and they keep on running into the same people.
They cut down Bill Burr's character for the 2nd season's episode.
Yeah,
with him. But like it was cool though to see like Amy Sedaris pop back up in season 2. Like and the same. Like
don't get me wrong, I love Mandalorian. It's actually great. Like I actually love this 2nd season more than I like the first one, which I like a lot as well.
Yeah. I'm so excited about the 3rd season. Like, watch it on Friday. I was just like, because like I was like really in a weird headspace on Friday because I thought that I was getting COVID and I was stressing out about a job interview. And
I know how that feels.
I literally got myself sick this weekend because of this job interview. Like not finding out about the job. It made me whatever. It doesn't matter. And I don't have COVID. I found that out yesterday, which is great. But we'll rapid test said no, and PCR will find out. Hopefully, says no too. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, I watched the episode, just like exhausted, being like, "Oh my god, oh my god," and then like, "Oh my god," like basically the last like 40 minutes. Well, let's just say the whole running time of the episode, basically.
Yep, it's a great show. I think it improved upon the first season. I'm excited to see where they're going in the next seasons. And yeah, I just like if I have one pet peeve with the Star Wars universe is I feel like as they expand it, I feel like it's actually getting smaller, and it's this weirdest thing.
Well, there's like 20 more series coming, so we'll find out.
Yes.
Are you like wait? Where's my brain going? Have you watched Ted Lasso?
I have not watched that yet. I have it on the list of things that I need to watch. I made this like as the year went on. Because I got this new job where I'm doing like deliveries a lot. So I'm out in the world a lot, like doing stuff. So I've had less time to watch as much stuff as I wanted to, but I've been making like running lists of stuff that I need to go back to. And every time I have some free time, I'll go back and I'll check off some stuff on there. But yeah, like I mean, it's been good because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts while I'm out on the road and stuff.
What podcasts have you been getting into?
Ooh, I've been listening to, I think it's called Factual with I need to remember the guy's name. It's on Earwolf. I'm going to look it up because I want to credit the person properly.
Yeah, that's important.
Yes. Factually with Adam Conover. And
I love Adam Conover.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's a great. I just got into that one, and like it's a very interesting podcast. Just the different topics he delves into, and just like going over kind of stuff like that. He's very charismatic and just fun. And like I enjoy that podcast.
I used to know him because of UCB. Like I never like met him really well, but like I would see him because I was at UCB for like 7 years, so I saw him like all the time. So
nice. Yeah, it's a good podcast. And then like I listen to a bunch of like different sports podcasts. So like. Different like football and NBA podcasts and stuff like that, and I listen to like How Did This Get Made podcast. Oh,
because I know I'm a lifelong Miami Heat fan, so
Nice.
But I do like the Raptors a lot though. So
Miami is probably like one of my teams that I enjoy the most because of the fact that I have family in Miami as well. So like my aunt and my grandmother both live in Miami. So like I have a soft spot for Miami teams all over the place. Like for football, because there's no team here, my team is the Dolphins. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan.
Well, so like I remember like because like my family's always been like a big sports family, and like I've always like I like football until I was like 12 when Dan Marino retired.
Yeah.
And I like the Dolphins, and then I liked the Green Bay Packers for a while because at that time was when Brett Favre became big, and we're not going to talk about Brett Favre now, but like he was awesome back then, and so like my teams officially like football wise were Green Bay and Miami Dolphins, but yeah.
As far as like basketball, it's Toronto, and before Toronto had a team because we just got our team in 96, 95.
That sounds right. Yeah, because I know Vince Carter was like the first star on your team, and I fell in love with Vince Carter immediately.
Yeah. Oh, we all did down here. It was wonderful. It was a great time. But yeah, before they had a team, I think the team that I followed the most was San Antonio Spurs for some reason. I think I was just like a big fan of like I like
Dave Robinson and
Tim Duncan and Dave Robinson. Yeah, like that whole thing. So I became a fan of that team as well.
I like the Bulls. I've always liked Michael Jordan, but I'm a lifelong Miami Heat fan, so that's the reason why the Bulls are going number one. But I did cheer for them. So
I appreciate the Bulls, but I am not a. I don't jump on with what everyone else loves at any time. I'm a contrarian by nature in that sense. So anytime everyone's like, "I love this thing," I'm like, is it the best though?
And also, the documentary is amazing. The Last Dance.
Yeah, Last Dance. Yeah, super fun. I watched that over the first lockdown that we had happened at the same time as The Last Dance was coming out. Yeah. I remember me and my dad and my brother would like get online all at the same time and watch each episode on Sunday when it would come out. It was pretty great.
No, but like I've always cheered for the Raptors because of Vince Carter, and then like a little bit later because of Chris Bosh, and then he became a Heat player, and I was sweet. And like I've always respected like your team a lot. Also, like it's just like the atmosphere of the Raptors is always a cool one.
Oh yeah, especially once we created the Jurassic Park outside the building, where people would like gather in the little square outside the building to watch a game on like one of the big screens there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like we just got this identity of like having these like really fervent fans at that point, and like people that just stand out in the rain or in like the snow or whatever and just watch the game on the screen.
That's so I love that. Melted by so just like this is how I have to watch the game.
Jurassic Park is one of the most fun places that I've been, mostly in the spring and the summer. But it's I've been once in the winter and it was kind of
cool. I now want to visit to see what Jurassic Park is like. Like in my mind, like the theme for the movie Jurassic Park is playing the whole time all there.
They do it sometimes for sure. Like they'll play it. They have like a DJ out there. So like in the commercials parts of the game or like during timeouts, they'll play music out there for us as well.
Yeah.
And like it's just a good time. Like it's just a whole bunch of people. There's like food trucks and stuff out there to get food and whatever. And like it's like right outside of the arena, this whole quartered off area, so you can just stand out there and watch a game if you couldn't get in and get tickets.
So it's like an actual park, or is it just like a
the street outside the arena? And they like just block it off during game days so that people can gather there. And there's usually like a good like 1,000 people there just hanging out.
Well, I remember seeing that like when you guys were like in the finals, like and stuff like that. Like when they like those, all right, that makes sense. Yeah.
When we were in the finals, like Drake set up a whole thing there. We're just hanging out outside for away games.
How many times have you met Drake? That's the real question.
I never met Drake once he became famous. I met him when he was on Degrassi.
I love how you're like once he became famous, so I knew him really well when he was on Degrassi.
No, like not really well. Like I met him a couple times when he was on Degrassi. I think he was at a couple like parties that I went to when I was in high school because he was like friends with people that I apparently knew. And yeah, it was like he seems like I have no sense of what kind of person he would be now. Like back then, he was actually way different than he acts like now, which is interesting. But
really? Okay.
Like he was more like the character that he played on Degrassi back then than he is. Oh. So I think this is maybe closer to like. I mean, everyone changes when they get older as well. Like he's like 30 now, so like I knew him when he was like 16, or like I saw him when he was 16. It's probably way different than he was then.
I mean, I hope someone that's in their 30s is not the same as they were when they were 16. Exactly. At least definitely cellular for sure, because the whole 7 years really a different person thing, whatever. But like At least like mentally, like don't be the same person.
Exactly.
God, I'd be such a sad human being if I was the same person as I was when I was 16. Just sadly listening to like Eminem and reading plays, and listening to Jack White, which I still do, but and I still read plays. So I'm not that much different.
No, I've been spending a lot of time this year reading more scripts. Actually, like not as many plays. Yeah. Although I feel like I have some ideas that might work as plays. I just never really looked into it because I don't read a lot of plays and stuff like that. And I feel like I need to start looking at that more. But I've just been focusing on TV scripts. So I've read like 30 pilots this year just to like, get a sense of what you're trying to accomplish when you're writing a pilot and stuff like that. So like I just got into that.
Like for me, like this whole bookcase behind me is all plays.
Nice.
I started my collection like in like when I was like 15 and just didn't stop. So
I don't know, like the closest thing to a play that I think I've read, but again, I read what was adapted for screen. I read I bought the book that is all the scripts for Fleabag.
Oh yeah, awesome.
And it almost made me not want to write anymore because I'm like, she's too good. I don't think I can be this good. This is incredible.
When it comes to like stuff like that, though, it's like don't try to be someone. Like don't try to like, be the best version of yourself. Don't try to be someone else.
Exactly. But like it was like wow. I was reading it and
she's a British woman.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like you're gonna have a different outlook on things. Like you're a Canadian dude, you know, like
100%.
Life is so different, like for you compared to her. Like
but at the same time, when I was reading it, I'm like, oh, she's so good. She's so good. Waller-Bridge.
I remember while reading like the like I got to Tracy Letts, who's a really good actor and an amazing playwright. Like he wrote August Osage County, Killer Joe. I'm sure you've seen both those movies.
Plays, but yeah.
But like his stuff is always just so intense and cool. And like back when I was reading stuff, I was like, oh my god, I want to be intense and cool like that. And now I'm like, when I write like my plays now, it's just silly shit. Like I write silly plays, which I like because I rather make people feel happy than like anxious or whatever. Oh, yeah. Right now, that's where I'm at as a writer. Like I'd rather make people feel happy.
Oh, for sure. My style of writing right now that I think I've gotten into, and I think it's why Rian Johnson speaks to me so much. I really like deconstructing genre a little bit. Like I would look at the genre and be like, okay, I appreciate this genre and I'm deconstructing it from a place of like I love it, but there are things about it that always happen. I want to be like, what if I did this thing instead, and see how that would turn out.
So you love Knives Out, then, of course.
Oh, love Knives Out, love Brick, love all the Rian Johnson movies. That's all Rian Johnson does. Rian Johnson just looks at. You could tell that he loves movies and like the old kind of like noir movie or like the old mystery movie, and you could tell like even in the Star Wars movie. I know people think that he doesn't like Star Wars. I could tell that it was made by a person that enjoys Star Wars in the universe and wanted to just do something else with it. That's what he does. He just wants to like take it in a direction that hasn't gone before. And part of that is like recognizing the tropes and being like, I'm going to show you it and you show you what you recognize. And I'm going to do a totally separate thing with it now. I really appreciate that.
I like people that don't think in boxes. Like that's my biggest thing. Like that's why I'm like obsessed with the Safdie brothers, like as like filmmakers. Like, and I met them a couple of times at my job, but like I'm so excited for that project they're doing with Nathan Fielder.
Oh yes, Nathan Fielder.
Literally like, did you watch How To on HBO?
I have not watched that, but I know that there are some good episodes of that.
Oh my god, dude, it's like amazing. So it's like a very like straightforward documentary about like life in New York and like just like a history, like kind of cool. But then like 20 minutes in each episode, it veers off to something very, very dark and very, very funny, while the whole time having a narrator who's very, very funny, but like just like awkward, like weird male humor, you know.
No, there's this writer that I follow. I can't remember the name of them, but they put out like their 10 favorite episodes of TV this year, and that was one of the things they had on it.
The last episode is amazing. Like How to Make a Risotto is literally one of the. I cried like 3 times in that. Like it's not so like Ted Lasso is like an amazing show where it's like not the funniest show in the world, but just like, oh my god, these are good characters being good in a comedy. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, there's no villain in Ted Lasso. There's a villain, but like they're not a villain. You know what I mean? Like they're like they just like, but everyone's like a person. Yeah. But like what was my brain going? What was I talking about before I said that?
How
Wow.
to?
And How To is it's so fucking funny. Like there's an episode of How To that I literally fell out of my chair.
Oh, I can imagine. I just like, from what I've read about it, and it's the reason I have to go to watch it, is that it's like super bizarre way of doing a documentary. Like it starts off very focused and very simple on this one thing, and then it becomes this whole other thing by the end of it. You're like, I did not see that coming. I didn't see that's where we were going with this.
Like in the first step, like there's an episode like how to build scaffolding or whatever. It talks about like the history of scaffolding, like in New York and stuff like that. And like you're just like, wow, this is really fascinating. And then like it veers in like the like gorgeous dark comedy like world. You're like, oh my god.
I'm going to watch this. You're making me have to move this up my list. I'm going to watch this during my winter break right now. I'm going to watch some.
I mean, I just started watching The Flight Attendant, and I'm liking it so far. I'm not too deep into it, but I like it so far. I know you wanted to talk about like top movies of the year. I know you said that.
Ooh, yeah. So I didn't get to see it as much this year as I wanted to, but like there's definitely stuff that I watched that I really enjoyed. Obviously, one of the things that sticks out of my head, like of this year, that I just really enjoyed watching. Did you see Spontaneous?
No, I never heard of it.
Oh my god! So Spontaneous is starring the girl from 13 Reasons Why, and she's in a bunch. She's in other stuff. I can't remember anything else that she's in right now. Why I can't remember her name. But anyway, starring the girl from 13 Reasons Why. It's the most bizarre movie that I think I watched this year. That I wasn't expecting what it was going in because I didn't see anything. Like,
yeah, I just looked it up. It looks insane.
I purposely didn't watch any trailers for it because I was like, I just want to go in blind. I just saw a poster, and the poster looked like it was like, oh, it's like a teen rom-com thing. So I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
I'm just got a heart on it.
Yep.
Yeah,
these two young people, they fell in love. I'm like, cool, I'll watch it. And like, elevator pitch for the movie, I guess, is like, it's in this town where all these kids at this high school, everyone under a certain age, they like one day while they're in class, one of their classmates just explodes, like spontaneously combusts, and then it just keeps happening to people in that school, and they basically have to like quarantine them together and be like, we have to figure out why they keep on exploding. They're trying to come up with like ways to stop them from exploding and do other stuff, and then basically all the kids in the class think they're going to die now, and they're trying to figure out why they're exploding. They think like the religious kids are like, oh, I think it's because God hates us, or like other people are like, oh, I think it's because all these different explanations for why it happens. And like it's just such a weird movie when it like the first scene of the movie, they're just sitting in class and one of the girls in the class just explodes, and then the movie just goes on from there. And I was like, okay, I'm in. Let's see what this is. And it's just like so darkly funny the way that they react to everything after that point. And like you think it's just going to be this teen rom-com, and it just becomes this like really interesting story about like survivor's guilt, which I found really fascinating. Yeah.
You don't get that. You don't get survivor's guilt from a teen comedy.
Yeah, that's where it goes, and it's just very interesting.
Okay,
I really like it.
I gotta check that out. One of my, I'll give another like one of my weird dark picks. Come to Daddy.
Ooh, I know.
Elijah Wood, who's also
yes.
It's that this guy whose father left his mother when he was really young. He barely has any memories of his dad, and he like gets a letter from his dad and goes to visit his dad like in this like beautiful like kind of UFO looking house. It's not a UFO. It's just a weird like architecture. Like it's like in the middle of nowhere. It's in nowhere, and his dad is like aggressive and mean and like drunk and like it's just like off. And that's all I'm gonna say until you watch it. But it goes to some of the funniest, darkest places I've ever seen in a comedy. And it's just like one of those like it's one of those movies that like did really well like at like Fantastic Fest and stuff like that. Like it's a really fun, weird comedy. I know it's on Amazon Prime, I believe, also, but like, it's really fun.
I could definitely take a look at it because I have Amazon Prime, so I can do that. Yeah. What else was there that I watched this year? I'm thinking of Ending Things. I watched this year on Netflix.
I don't love it as much as I wanted to.
I wanted to like it a lot more than I did as well, but like I didn't hate it. I just thought I was like, what did I want from this movie?
It's like 20 minutes too long.
Yes, that would probably be the big thing with it. It's a little bit too long, and I don't know, like I did appreciate how just like weird it is, and I appreciate weirdness.
My biggest issue, I agree with that. I'm in the same, but my biggest issue with that movie for me though is like there's too much. This is just a dumb statement. There's too much Oklahoma in that movie for what it results to.
Yes.
Because I love Oklahoma. Like, don't get me wrong. I saw like there was a really cool adaptation of Oklahoma on Broadway like a year ago, which is like 5-hour word sexy Oklahoma.
Okay.
And it was really, really amazing. And like won like Tonys and like, but like I was just like, I don't get like I get it, but I don't get why they're doing this much Oklahoma for what they're doing in this movie. Like I like where the movie went, but I don't get where the movie went.
It gave me a similar feeling, and this is like a totally different movie, but it gave me the same kind of feeling. When I first watched Annihilation.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I remember I watched that movie and I'm like, I don't know if I liked it, but I enjoyed watching it. And I don't know what to like. I don't know how to classify that feeling. Like I don't know if I've ever been compelled to go revisit Annihilation. I don't know if I remember anything specifically that I really, really loved about it. Yeah. But I just remember as I was watching it, I was like, I can't leave, and I'm like totally into this, but I don't know if I like it.
I actually loved Annihilation, like from moment one.
That's the feeling I have. Like I loved watching it. I don't know if I like the movie. It's the weirdest part. I don't know how to explain it. It's the only way I can find to explain it.
That is my exact opinion of watching the movie Mank.
Yeah.
Like the movie's made for like 8 people in the world, like people that like Citizen Kane and like old Hollywood. And you're like, this is fine if you're not like in love with that. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Okay.
Yeah,
like that was it. Like I was so upset by that movie because everyone's like, it's gonna be so big for the Oscars. And I'm like, cool. Okay. Like
I was super happy that movie was able to get out and be made because I want Fincher to start doing some other stuff too. So like this is a big hang up for Fincher for a real long time, and now he's freed up to do some other stuff. Let's get back to it, Fincher.
It's the exact opposite, like with Steve McQueen right now. Like how in theory that guy can win a shit ton of Oscars right now, depending on how they classify small acts, because it looks like it might be classified as one giant movie, which is incredible. So like I've only seen 3 of them so far, but my mind's blown by all 3 I've seen.
Nice. Yeah.
Have you seen any of those yet, or?
I have them on a list based on your recommendation. Actually, I remember you writing about them on Twitter, and I wrote it down. I was like, I'm gonna have to watch this.
Lover's Rock is the most magical thing I've ever seen. Like it's 70 minutes of people just having a house party.
Nice. No, I really love Steve McQueen, so like I'm excited to watch it.
I remember like watching. Oh my god, what was the name of the one about the porn act, like the sex addict guy? Oh my god, Shane. Thank you. I remember like because I knew like 2 people that had small roles in that movie, but like it was so weird watching that movie because that whole movie is like shot in a part of New York that I used to be in all the time. Mm-hmm. But like this is like a weird thing for me when it comes to movies, but like I really like it when the geography is correct, and I hate it when the geography is wrong. And the geography was so wrong in that movie. Like I'm like, what? It was on 5th Avenue. Now it's on 10th Avenue. That doesn't make sense. Like, yeah.
I feel you. I get that. Another couple movies that I watched that were kind of similar, but like totally different tones. I watched Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always, and Unpregnant, which are both movies about girls going cross country to get abortions. Which one of them was comedic and one of them was like super serious. And I was like, I feel like these are both very well made and cover a topic that is interesting and I think needs to be shown. And they're both like great actresses in both movies. And I appreciated both movies. So those are definitely on my list of stuff that I watched this year. It's weird that I watched them both within like the same like few weeks. I don't know why I got into that headspace or like why they both came into my radar at the same time, but I just watched both of them and I was like, this is weird. That in 2 weeks I've watched 2 movies about girls having to go across state lines to get an abortion.
Oh my god. There's so few movies about that topic too, I feel like, like
oh for sure.
I feel like there's only been before that like Obvious Child. That's it. Like that can think of. And that's not like a single line movie. That's just like that's just like figuring things out,
Mm-hmm. And there's just interesting where they treat it with like care. Obviously, they don't not doing the movie just willy nilly. Like they have a good message in there, and just really interesting look at all the stuff that goes into making that kind of a decision. And like as a man that never has to go through that kind of thing, it's like cool to be let into the mindset of it and like see it on screen so that you kind of can try to understand a little bit better. I know I just find that those things are like fascinating to me. I like anything that goes out of a perspective that I have personally.
Yes, I think that's a really important thing to do. Like personally, like
watch more stuff that takes you out of your own perspective.
I think I want to give another recommendation. Because I've not done Letterboxd at all this year because of COVID. Makes me sad. Because I do Letterboxd when I go to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I've not done anything with that. What was I thinking of?
I found this thing this year.
Host.
Okay.
Host. Have you seen that movie? Do you horror?
Who's in it again? Sorry.
Host. It was shot during the pandemic, and it came out during like in October on Shudder.
I haven't seen it.
It's amazing. It's all shot on Zoom. And nice. It's all about these people that do like a hangout every week or whatever. And this week they're having a seance. And the whole movie is like 57 minutes long. And then like shit gets fucking bad.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like it feels like Unfriended, but better. And I'm not saying that in a bad thing towards Unfriended because I do like the first Unfriended actually.
I do. I like that as well.
The second one is really funny, but like in a bad way. Like
I'll definitely check it out. As far as like horror stuff this year, I haven't watched a ton of it. Like everything that I watched this year that was even kind of horror was funny horror. So like it was I saw that movie Freaky with Vince Vaughn, which was
I've heard it was pretty fun.
It's fun and it's like silly. It's very much in the vein of Happy Death Day. Like it's just like a funny kind of silly movie, and I was like, it's fun. And then the other one I watched was Bad Hair, which was really bizarre, weird.
I heard that movie is like not necessarily even good. Like I heard it's just weird.
It's weird, and I had fun with it, but it's not like great.
I just like it's still on my list for things to see for the year, and it, like for my year-end list or whatever that I make this year. Like I know my year-end list, but I'm like, I don't like nothing compares to Small Axe right now for me.
No. I found this weird. This year was weird for me because like I was trying to make a list of stuff that I watched and enjoyed this year. I actually have to go back and look up stuff that came out this year to remember, because a big thing that makes me remember movies is like the act of going to see them.
Yes.
And when I'm just home watching them, they kind of just come in and then go out because I didn't have to, like there was no effort made to actually watch it for me a lot of times. So okay.
I'm not looking forward to watching. I have Tenet on Blu-ray, like literally like 10 feet away from me. I haven't had a chance to watch it I didn't see it in theaters because that's not an option here in New York. That's the
last movie I saw in theaters because we had our theaters open right when Tenet came out for like 2 months, so I was able to go watch it in IMAX. And
was it fun?
That was the last thing I saw. It was cool to watch in IMAX. I don't know if I liked the movie, but I found it interesting.
That's everyone's reviewing the movie. They're like, I don't know if I like it, but I'm happy I saw it. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense from everyone.
No, like the visual stuff is cool. I don't think any of the movie stands up to any kind of like mental scrutiny. If I started thinking about it too much, I was like, oh, wait, this doesn't make sense. And then I was like, okay, I need to stop thinking about it.
That's like every time travel movie that's not Bill and Ted or Bill and Ted.
I despise
every time travel movie like being scrutinized to the T. Oh no, Primer is really good with their timeline.
I despise time travel for that reason, just as a writer, because it's like once you introduce it, it just creates too many problems for you, and you can't get out of them.
Yeah,
a lot of the time. It's just really complicated.
It was a thing I love to do in improv when I did improv because because you can just like if you get called out, you're just like you can just like bullshit more and like just becomes funnier. But like because time travel only makes sense in like Bill and Ted movies and the movie Primer to me, which is weird.
And like again, it's just one of the things when you think about it, it just kind of ruins what you're thinking about. Like I love Looper as like one of those Rian Johnson movies.
Yes.
I love, and like one of the most viscerally memorable scenes to me is that scene where they're chopping up that guy as he's like trying to run away and do this thing, and then in the future, like his limbs are falling off and he's like finding himself in all these places. And I was like, this scene is like grotesque and scary, and it's like wow, this is a really well thought out thing. And then as soon as I walked out of the movie, like in the movie, I was into it, and I thought about it for a second. I was like, well, wait, that isn't how time travel would work. If in the future, if in the past they have him and they're cutting off his limbs, how did he get to the place where he is, where the limbs are just disappearing from his body? If like he would have had to move to that point at some point.
Oh
And
god,
like, it just doesn't make sense. It was just like, okay, I can't think about it anymore. I just like the scene. It was fun. It was weird.
And that's like the thing about movies. You go to movies, like watch movies, escape, and like have a good time or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about before we start wrapping up? I know we're like at an hour, and I'm trying to be good time for everyone.
No.
I can talk to like all like this has been amazing for me.
I know. It's been super fun.
Yeah.
I'll just give a couple quick hits of other stuff that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I watched that.
So good. So
good. I enjoyed Palm Springs earlier this year. That was funny.
That was my favorite movie of the year until Small Axe, honestly.
It was super fun and just like enjoyed it. It was right in the niche of things that I love, which is like a rom-com with a little bit of like Groundhog's Day, and then Kristen Miliotti's in it. I'm in. Thank you. It's like they made the movie for me. I was like, I'm down.
Yeah.
And then earlier this year, a movie that I really enjoyed that I didn't expect to enjoy, which is like my favorite kind of movie that I go in with very low expectations, being like, I think I'm going to hate this. And then I walk out, I'm like, that was actually pretty damn good. I enjoyed it. Was Bad Boys for Life. I really enjoyed watching that earlier this year.
It's just, okay, so what I like about Bad Boys for Life is that it makes you, like, what I like about it is that, like, it's the Bad Boys movie that's, like, not problematic.
Yes.
Like, because you can't watch Bad Boys 1996 and be like, oh, that's good. And then you watch Bad Boys 2, and you're like, this is fun, but don't listen to anything that they're saying because it's pretty bad. And then number 3, you're like, oh, this is good.
I enjoyed everything that they did in Bad Boys for Life. I remember I went in thinking it was going to be bad because I was like, there's two reasons I thought it was going to be bad. I was like, okay, it's coming out in like January, February. Yeah. I'm like, this is not. They don't have any confidence in this movie. They don't think it's good. And then my second thing is that they called it Bad Boys for Life, and I was like, you obviously saved that title for the 4th movie if you're going to do a 4th one, which means they don't think they're going to get a 4th one. So now I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad then.
I'm also happy that means we didn't get Bad Boys for Life. Just like, yeah, because Bad Boys for Life is a fun movie.
It's super fun. And like all the developments in it, I really enjoyed. And it was one of the last movies I saw in the theater before we had our first lockdown here.
Yeah.
And then we like came out of lockdown and saw Tenet. So those were like the 2 big movies I saw in the theater this year, which was Bad Boys for Life and Tenet, which was, both fun.
The last big movie I saw in theaters was Sonic the Hedgehog. No complaints there, honestly, because that movie's fun. But like,
I saw that one at home after.
No, actually, that's our Birds of Prey is the last big one I saw. So.
Oh yeah.
And I love Birds of Prey. Is my favorite DC movie. I'm a sucker for a strong female lead. Oh my god.
Oh,
like give me a good strong female cast. I'm sold. I'm done.
100% into that. I agree. I've been like trying to rack my brain recently, trying to come up with like some kind of like starring vehicle that's like an action kind of a sci-fi thing for like a Viola Davis and like a bunch of other women.
Yeah.
Do a thing. Because like I love Viola Davis and all her like super serious like Oscar-y kind of roles that she does and is great. I really loved her in Widows, and where she got to just like do this kind of like heist movie, and I'm like,
she's also not that serious to Ma Rainey. Like,
I know
Ma Rainey is like the weirdest movie because it's August Wilson's got the weirdest like history of his plays. Like they're all like kind of serious but kind of funny and not at the same time. Like it's just about Black life in the 20th century of all of his plays.
So yeah, like I one of the like I'm doing a lot of TV stuff, but like I'm kind of developing a feature film script that I specifically in my brain is going to star Viola Davis for whatever.
That's awesome. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's it. Those are the things that I remember off the top of my head from this year that I really enjoyed watching. And I'm obviously going to watch some more stuff too. Like we didn't even get really into like TV from this year, which I think there's a lot of good TV this year.
There was a lot of good TV. I mean, granted, a lot of this year was me like eating my TV with like watching Survivor, like seasons I've not watched before and stuff like that. So and like clear international versions of Survivor. But no, like there's been a lot of like good TV, like Ted Lasso, Flight Attendant, Lovecraft Country, Queen's Gambit.
Gambit. The show called Feel Good on Netflix, starring Mae Martin. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I never heard of it.
So it's a TV series. I think it's like 6 episodes. It was made by E1 and E4, or I don't know what the company, the UK company that made the Misfits and stuff like that. And it's just about like this comedian that's from Toronto, and she moves to the UK, and it's just about her life living in the UK. And it's called Feel Good.
I still need to see the 4-year-old version, which I've heard is amazing.
Yes, that's also
like because like all my friends that work in the theater in New York are like, you have to see this because you have to see this, and I'm like, I gotta see it because I have to see it.
Yeah, there's too much stuff to watch these days, man. It's wild.
Which is really funny because all I have is time on my hands right now.
Exactly. It's wild. So much stuff to watch, and I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen next year, like or when things kind of get back to normal with like the pandemic and movie theaters open again. Like there's this big backlog of stuff that got pushed back, right?
I mean, like I'm dying for In the Heights.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of my favorite stage shows I've ever seen in my entire life, and that one hurt when it got pushed back. But like, yeah.
And then just logistically, like all the stuff that got pushed back is gonna have to come out. But then there's stuff that was in the pipeline that was supposed to come out in 2021 that now is going to also get pushed back. So everything is getting moved behind a little bit.
There were like 2 Marvel movies coming out this year to begin with, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
exactly. So it's going to be an interesting time once that happens. But yeah,
we're just going to be busy people.
But no, this has been great.
So getting ready to wrap up, I want to give your Twitter so people can see that. So I know that the first 4 are your initials.
Yes.
What's the GSE, if you don't mind me asking?
When I was in high school and college, we had to like come up with like our own logo and like production company name.
Okay,
and
cool.
I just came up with a weird one that was called Golden Swan Entertainment.
Nice.
That's what it stands for. Golden Swan Entertainment.
That makes me so happy. We're slowing down the season for MarkTalk, but like we do have Mark Meets World returning next week. I'm recording 2 episodes tomorrow. One with a guest that's been on before, and one that's a Survivor contestant that I'm very excited to have on. For people that want to be on Mark Meets World, that's Boy Meets World Rewatch Season 2. So excited to get there now. Season 1 was a little bit tough, but Season 2 onwards, all class. Did you watch Boy Meets World growing up, Matt?
I did watch Boy Meets World growing up. As one of the things that me and my sister really connected on was Boy Meets World and like Big Brother and Survivor. We always watched together. So yeah.
So that means I should get you on for a later episode. For an episode,
I definitely do some rewatch. Like I haven't watched any of them in a really long time, and I'd be actually pretty excited to like rewatch an episode and be like, "Wow, this is a show."
We're gonna have our MarkTalk Brant Steele coming up, new season. That'll be exciting. And then, of course, you want to tweet at me at MarkLevy85. Matt, this is awesome. I'm so happy we did this. Like, I really think I can call you.
Thank you so much for having me. This is super fun. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.